Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of At the Movies with William Fletcher. As per usual, I am your host, William Fletcher, and this week, today, actually, is is what I watched this month, January edition, 2022. It is already February. That is absolutely mental. That we're already a month into the year. That's crazy. So yeah, like I said on yesterday's episode, on Thursday, Friday will be my BAFTA nomination, my reactions to the BAFTA nominations. So yeah, 3 episodes out this week, all just with me. So, but then yeah, next week will be like a normal episode and the Oscar nominations, and then after that will be the Valentine's Day special, which will be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the films that I watched in this past month. So first off was The Lion King, which I covered in my episode yesterday, so I don't really feel like I need to talk about that more. Really, really great film, one of the best animated films, and one of the best films ever made, in my personal opinion. Then I watched through all the Matrix films, the original Matrix, Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix Resurrections. Uh, the original Matrix is one of my all time favorite films. I remember a few years ago, 2019, it would have been. I went to see it in the cinema with my dad, which was an unbelievable time. It was really really great. It was absolutely fantastic, and I stand by it as being one of the best action films ever made, one of the best sci-fi films ever made. I think that Keanu Reeves gives a really great performance in it. Well, not really great performance, a solid performance for what he's given. I think all the supporting cast are really good. Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, Hugo Weaving especially is absolutely fantastic. There's so many iconic scenes. The red pill, blue pill thing. There's the whole you know there's the bullet time. There's the great fight between Neo and Smith at the end of the film. It's a fantastic film, and one of the best films ever made in my opinion. And then there's the sequels, which I don't really like. I feel like everything that's sort of been said about these films and why they sort of don't work as films has already been said. I just don't think they work particularly well, because essentially in the first Matrix they kind of screwed themselves, because by the end of that film, Neo can fly, and then it's sort of like, well, what do you do after that now? Because now he's basically Superman. So he is, yeah. It's kind of hard to try and write, a villain who go against him, because he's more or less unstoppable, and so they just create him fighting hundreds of Agent Smiths who then like dogpile on him. It's crazy. But I would say, if I was to put one above the other, I'm not entirely sure, because I don't really like either. I'll check my ratings that I gave them. I think I might have given them the same rating. But I think I think I gave them. I don't know. I preferred Matrix Revolutions. Gave that a 5. Gave the second one a 4. That's yeah. That's probably pretty fair. I don't really care for them, and I did watch these in anticipation for the new one, which I have not seen yet, and yeah. Um, so did I say Matrix? Yeah, Matrix. I wrote it down. I titled it as the new one, and it's not the new one. It's Matrix. It's Revolutions and Reloaded. I gotta change that, because I haven't actually seen Matrix Resurrections yet, and I did plan to see that, but stuff happens, and you don't really get to do what you want to do. So yeah. But yeah, the original Matrix, a classic, not, one of the best films ever made, and then the two mediocre sequels that don't really, you know, mean anything and don't really matter. Uh, Then I watched West Side Story, the 2021 remake. I won't talk about this because I have a very good feeling it will be a big Oscars contender, so I'll just leave that for my Oscars episode in March. Then I rewatched Whiplash, which I covered on the podcast a couple weeks ago. So just go back and listen to that episode and you'll get my full thoughts on it then. And I watched Don't Look Up, the new Adam McKay film. Again, I think that'll probably be a big Oscars contender for Best Picture and stuff. So I won't actually. I'll just quickly say that I really liked West Side Story. I thought it was really good. I thought there was some really good stuff in it, and I was surprised at how good it was and how invested I got in the relationship of Maria and Tony. But I will cover that in the Oscars episode because I feel like it will be a big player there. And Don't Look Up, I thought was a solidly decent film. I think the hate for it has been a little mental. I think, it's very on the nose, but I kind of like that Adam McKay is just being incredibly on the nose with these films and just being like, yep, this is what I'm doing. Deal with it. So yeah, but I'll talk about that more in the Oscars episode. Then I watched The House, which is a new Netflix original, which was originally meant to be a TV series, and on most places it is being like people haven't putting it as a TV series when it's not. It's a film. It's an anthology film. It's like the Ballad of Buster Scruggs was originally like a TV show, like an anthology TV show, but it was not as a film. And The House is another one of those, and it was my first new 2022 release, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the three stories that were in it. I felt that my personal favorite of the anthology stories was the third one, which is basically extended version of the short film A House of Small Cubes, which if you haven't, I recommend you go watch it. It's on YouTube for free. It's like 12 minutes long. It's really, really solid. It's really fun. Not fun. I don't know why I said it was fun. It's not fun. It's very well made. It's an animated short. It's a foreign language animated. It's a foreign animated short film. It's like 12 minutes on YouTube. So yeah, go find it and watch it. And then if you get really emotionally into it, you might cry. But The House was really good. I've only seen two 2022 releases, but it's my personal favorite film of the year so far, and I have a very good feeling it will stay in my top 10 by the end of the year, presumably. Yeah, it's really fun, and I really enjoy the three stories that it tells. It's in a very interesting animation style. It's like stop motion, but with like, I don't know how to explain it. It just, go find it and watch it, and you'll understand what I mean. It's an animated film, but it's like a stop motion animated film, but not in like a traditional way. It's something you should definitely go watch on Netflix. It's only an hour and a half long too, so yeah. Then I watched Scream, the new Scream. I did not get a chance to rewatch and watch. I did not get a chance to watch through the film, the prior four films. Unfortunately, I did not expect to go see it. When I did, I kind of expected it would be a little while before I got to see it, but I actually saw it on like the day after it came out, and I was blown away by it. I absolutely loved it. It's what I wanted from a Scream film, because I'm a big fan of the franchise. I think that I think the first Scream film is one of my all time favorite films. It's well up there for me. Scream 2 is decently solid, and Scream 3 is fine, I guess. I haven't seen 4 though, but Scream 5 was absolutely great. I absolutely loved it to bits. It was everything that the Scream franchise should be. I loved the callbacks to the original films. There was some really great surprises in there. I thought I predicted who the killer would be prior to the film, but in my head it kind of seemed a bit obvious, but I actually really, really liked it. and I thought it was a really fun film. I loved the opening sequence, which was essentially just a massive callback to the original film. I loved, all the different, all the different things. I loved how they handled it, how they handled the killers, how they handled bringing back, people from the first one, the original characters they brought back, David Arquette, Neve Campbell, and Courtney Cox, which is a thing I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of, like, when a franchise, like, comes back and they bring back, like, the original characters from the, like, older versions of characters from the, like one of my favorite bits of the concept. I talked about this in my Spider-Man episode, like, in the recent Star Wars sequel trilogy, where they had Luke and Leia and Han come back. That was all really good, and then I love that with this, especially because I love the characters in Scream so much that it was very nice to see, these characters who I loved, especially from, from the original Scream in particular, back. And yeah, I thought it was a very solid film, and yeah, my second favorite film of the year, although I've only seen 2 new 2022 releases, so there's no real, then I rewatched The Amazing Spider-Man, because my parents had finally gone around to seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, and then they decided to watch the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films, because they'd never seen them before. It's fine, it's nothing amazing. I love Andrew Garfield Spider-Man after No Way Home, and I would really, really, really love for them to do an Amazing Spider-Man 3, and possibly a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. I would really, really love that. I think that would be really good. But I don't know, I think an Amazing Spider-Man 3 is definitely much more likely than a Spider-Man 4. But hopefully we can get both. I'd be very happy if we did. It's a decently solid film. I've gained a greater appreciation for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man after No Way Home. He's definitely the best in No Way Home. Yeah, it's a perfectly solid Spider-Man film. Still on the weaker end, probably. I still think my Spider-Man film rankings probably stays the same. Although I did not rewatch Amazing Spider-Man 2, so who knows. But my rankings probably the same. Just No Way Home is... yes, second to Spider-Verse. Then I watched Mass, which is a very, very good film that came out at Sundance last year. I mentioned this in my Review of the Year episode that I did, that this was like the biggest film coming out of Sundance, and then like the second biggest was Coda. This is better than Coda in my opinion, and should be getting a lot more awards recognition and a lot more awards love, but it's not, because they've not been pushing it very well, which is such a shame, because Jason Isaacs and Martha Plimpton especially deserve major awards recognition. Jason Isaacs should be winning Best Supporting Actor. The film should be nominated at least, and probably winning for Best Original Screenplay. Honestly, I think, like, it should be, getting in there and winning original screenplay and supporting actor, but it's not. It's not happening, and that really sucks, because it should be. It's just a fantastic film. And I feel like this is a film I'll probably discuss a little bit more in my Oscars episode, and talking about why it should be nominated for Best Picture and getting in for all these categories. So I'll talk about it then. Then I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse, which I did on the podcast, so go listen to that episode. And yeah, then I watched my first three Guillermo del Toro films. I've seen the Hellboy films. I've seen bits of them. I just don't remember them too well. So I watched Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, and Nightmare Alley. Pan's Labyrinth is amazing. Shape of Water is still very good. And Nightmare Alley is decent. It's Pan's Labyrinth is an outstanding film. If you haven't seen it, you should go check out Pan's Labyrinth right now. It's an amazing film. It's one of those visually stunning looking films I've ever seen personally. it really is phenomenal on so many levels. It's completely and utterly brilliant. There's so many great moments in it. There's so like the costumes, the makeup. It's just a classic. Like I feel like I don't need to talk about it too much because everyone has seen like at least images from it or parodies of it. There's so much iconic imagery with the fawn and that guy with the I forgot his name, but he's got eyes on his hands and he holds them up to his face. But besides the sort of fantastical, mystical elements of it, I thought that the humans, the stuff with like the humans and the sort of not magical world was really, really good. And I thought it worked really, really well. I thought the girl's lead performance was utterly outstanding. I was surprised at how good of a child performance that was, considering that child performances are really not are typically quite poor. Like there isn't really any major child performances that I think are really, really good. Like there's definitely none I can think of at the minute. It's a really, really great child performance, and it's an utterly fantastic film that I highly recommend that you all go check out because it's completely and utterly brilliant. It's Then The Shape of Water, Best Picture winning over 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, which I think is very fair. I think I've made my opinion on 3 billboards pretty I've made that pretty known on the podcast, as I did an entire episode on it, which you should go listen to. I think that Shape of Water, I was surprised at how much I got invested in the emotional, in the drama of it all, and the relationship between the two, between the Sally Hawkins and the fish monster. I don't think that's spoilers to say because I think it was pretty well known prior, that most people know it as the fish sex movie, which is very much not entirely fair, but I mean it is kind of that. It is a lot of that. There's a lot more of that than I expected, to be honest. That's got a really nice happy ending. The film performances throughout are all really good. Michael Shannon is his hand, it's super gross, but it's a really, really good, really really great film, in fact, and I highly do recommend that you all check it out when you get the chance to. And then Nightmare Alley, his new release. Again, this would probably be a big Oscars thing, so I'll cover it then. But I liked it. Thought it was solid. Wasn't amazing, but it was decently solid. Then I watched Conversations with Other Women, which, if you haven't seen, is basically it's Aaron Eckhart and Helena Bonham Carter, and they're 2 strangers who meet at a wedding. And then stuff ensues. It was really, really good, and I got very much into the relationship between those 2 characters. I was very interested in wanted to see where it would all be going, and it has a very sort of melancholic ending, and that final shot, if you've seen the film, the final shot is legitimately amazing. It's insane how great that final shot is. It's and Helena Bonham Carter is slowly becoming one of my favorite actresses. She is completely brilliant. I mean, I've always thought she was good. It's at Fight Club, for example. She was great in Fight Club, and this is another performance that helps solidify how great she is, in my opinion. And Aaron Eckhart, he's not bad either. Aaron Eckhart is quite good as well in this film. Then I watched Cannibal the Musical and Orgasmo. These are the only other 2 Trey Parker directorial efforts that I hadn't seen. and like they're solid. I think Cannibal the Musical is decent, but I actually really really liked Orgasmo. I thought that was very entertaining, very very funny. Had some really great bits of comedy in it. It was very much like this is sort of South Park esque humor. I don't know. I could sort of see like, cause you know, I mean, and it really shows that that Trey Parker has always been interested in the Mormon people, as you know, he is, dressing up as, he plays a Mormon in Orgasmo, and yeah, it was a really, really enjoyable film. It was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Definitely preferred over Cannibal the Musical. I just think, there's a few bits like you can sort of tell that like they didn't have a lot of money to make it. It looks a bit like, oh, that's a bit crap, and you can tell that due to, because of the budget they had. But they are definitely well worth checking out. They're definitely very, if you won't, like, they're only an hour and a half long, and they're definitely not, like, films that you'll be upset with watching. They're perfectly solid entertainment, and I really, really like them. So then, I'll do my ranking, actually, of Trey Parker's directorial films. So at the bottom, I've got Cannibal the Musical, then Orgasmo, South Park Post-COVID, South Park Post-COVID, The Return of COVID, Team America World Police, and South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. So that's my ranking of his directorial efforts. Yeah. Then I started my Disney watch through, which I only watched 2 films of this month. I watched Oliver and Company and Encanto. I don't think I need to go over Encanto because I believe I covered that in my review of the year, and I'll cover it in my Oscars episode, so there's no point. Needless to say, it got quite a bit. It got better actually on a rewatch, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, actually, Encanto is really really good. Go check it out. It's on Disney Plus right now. Kind of wish I'd seen it in theaters, but I also didn't really care to go see it in theaters. And then Oliver and Company is solid. It's a perfectly fine, serviceable Disney film. It's not like amazing. It's not like something crazy, the most craziest thing they've ever done. It's just it's relatively solid. I don't really have much to say on it. It's just like a solid Disney film. Then I watched The Pianist, and oh boy, that is a very sharp turn. It's I feel like I'll have to do an episode on The Pianist at some point because Jesus Christ, it is. There's so much I want to say about it that I like. It's hard to put into not hard to put into words. It's very much like it is a true. It is a. I just if I'm being honest, it's a completely and utterly masterclass of a film. It's completely. Yeah, it's amazing. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just read my review of it. And I'll post this review up on the website for this, so you can check it out. But I'm just gonna read this verbatim because that'll probably give my opinion the best, and it pretty much will say it because it's structured and everything. So I'll just read this review. It's insane to me that a man like Roman Polanski can create a film that delves into and analyzes the horrors of humanity, considering his past. The Pianist is one of the most emotionally gripping films I've seen. This film perfectly illustrates the horrors of World War II and the plight of the Jewish people. Adrien Brody shines in a career best performance, hitting all the nuances of his character as well as the major emotional beats required of him. The technical aspects of the film are all on point, with the score and cinematography especially being fantastic. Each scene is masterfully crafted, with no scenes going on too long or feeling unnecessary. The film's final 25 minutes is incredibly cathartic, and the fact that something so simple gripped me so emotionally is a clear indicator of the quality of the film. The Pianist is definitely not for everyone, but this incredibly harrowing and emotionally gripping film will now forever remain one of my all-time favorites. I think that illustrates my opinion pretty clearly. I really, really loved it. It was a really, really great piece of work, And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you all go watch it right now, after this thing's done. And then the final film I watched this watch, which I watched last night, in fact, was The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which was a surprisingly really solid, really nice emotional comedy that actually got some really nice emotional beats in it. It's incredibly funny, I thought there were some really great jokes. Some of the gay jokes haven't aged especially well. I did laugh, but it was more just the fact that it kept going. The jokes themselves weren't, like, exactly funny. It was the fact that they kept going, like, in calling each other gay and coming up with new reasons as to why they think the other one's gay. It's definitely not a comedy for everyone. If I don't know, like, humor definitely doesn't work for everyone, but for me personally, I thought it was absolutely really, really funny. I thought Steve Carell gave a really, really good lead comedic performance. I thought Paul Rudd was really good. I thought Seth Rogen was pretty decent. I thought all the other supporting actors, and I'm saying that because I don't know their names, unfortunately, but it's a really, really solid, really fun film. Really funny film, rather, and it's definitely one that's worth checking out as a comedy. Definitely, most of it is still a very good comedy. It's not one of, like, the best comedies of that like, sort of time period. I would argue Superbad is probably the best comedy of that sort of time period, which I did an entire episode on a year ago, in fact. But yeah, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, surprisingly emotional, and it's got a really nice happy ending, and it's very funny. It's a really fun, entertaining, funny film. So yeah, that is the films that I watched in January 2022. Thank you all for listening to this one. On Thursday or Friday will be the BAFTA nominations, my reactions to that. Next week will be an episode, and then it's the Oscar nominations, like a couple of days after that. And then there'll be Valentine's Day special in 2 weeks' time. And then I'll just continue on, and then the Oscars special will be Oscars episode will be in March, sometime like the week before the Oscars happen. So thank you all for listening to this week's episode, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. Bye.